There are a number of things about Noah's Ark that people often overlook. I want to point out a few of them, and I am sure there are many others that I have overlooked myself. Genesis chapter 6, verses 14 through 16 says this, quote, "Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it." End quote. According to Genesis chapter 6, verses 14 through 16, Noah's Ark was a 3-story structure with rooms that was 300 cubits long, or about 450 feet long. A cubit is the measure of distance from your elbow to your fingertip. Most study Bibles assume a cubit to be about 18 inches. My cubit is about 21. Assuming an 18-inch cubit, though, the ark was 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet tall. At these measurements, the ark would have been equivalent to basically a 101,250 square foot house. The ark had a window in the top of the ark that may have ran the entire length of the ark, that was a cubit or approximately 18 inches high. People often think that Noah had only 2 animals of each kind on the ark, but according to Genesis chapter 7, verses 2 and 3, he had 14 or 7 pairs of the clean kinds of animals. The purpose of these animals being taken onto the ark was, quote, "to keep seed alive upon the face of the earth." End quote. This would mean that he would have taken relatively young animals onto the ark that would have still had at least most, if not all, of their reproductive years ahead of them when they left the ark. Genesis chapter 7, verses 2 and 3 says this, quote, "Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by 2, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth." End quote. Genesis chapter 7, verses 8 and 9, and chapter 6, verse 20 seem to indicate that God selected and brought the animals to Noah that were to go into the ark. Genesis chapter 7, verses 8 and 9 say this, quote, "Of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth, there went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah." End quote. Genesis chapter 6, verse 20, quote, "Of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive." End quote. Another thing to think about is that Noah had 2 or 14 of each kind of animal, not each variety or variation of the same kind of animal. I believe that it is easy to determine the difference between varieties and types and kinds by simply looking at reproduction. If 2 or 50 varieties of animals are capable of breeding together, these varieties are not different kinds, but the same kind. Noah most likely brought only 2 dogs onto the ark, which brought forth the wolf, the coyote, the fox, the hound, and hundreds of other varieties of dogs. Hundreds of varieties, one kind of animal. From Adam and Eve sprang all of the various races that make up the human race. We are all one kind, whether we are a giant, a midget, heavy or thin, Caucasian, African, Japanese, Chinese, Mexican, or any other variety of mankind. This being said, the number of kinds of animals that went onto the ark was probably fairly small. Of the thousands and thousands of varieties of animals there are out there, they all come back to one of just several kinds of animals. Dogs, cats, pigs, sheep, cows, eagles, owls, ducks, snakes, elephants, giraffes, etc., to name some kinds.